Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Paul, and I am a nerd, and you are here for the April 2016 WorldDocs Virtual User Group meeting, where we are excited today to be talking about the preview click settings. Mary Jo is going to take that topic, and searching faster by designing and implementing search templates. I am going to take that topic. Without further ado, first Mary Jo will make the mouse wiggle. Make the mouse wiggle, Mary Jo. This is our new way of doing things, because she always gives me such a hard time when I forget to give her control. She's one of those people. She has to have control. Yeah, why are you laughing, Mary Jo? Remind you of
no
somebody?
reason at all, boss man. Nope, no reason at all.
And I am going to press the magic button here, get WorldDocs up on the screen, and Mary Jo is going to talk about those preview click and click to view settings.
Okay. So first off, we need to get into WorldDocs. Let me get over here. He flipped me right out of WorldDocs. But I'm going to open this a little larger so that we can see. So we are in GX4, just so you know. So if you have a different view of this, or you're not seeing the preview pane where I am at, that might be because you're on a prior version than GX4. That's okay. It still applies, and it's still going to be something that we can talk about. But my view and my things that I'm doing today is in GX4, so my preview pane is over here on the left-hand column. So, I'm sorry, my right hand, my other left hand, my right-hand side here of the screen. And if you don't see this over here, that means you're on a prior version. I highly recommend that you go ahead and get this updated, because we want to always be on the most current release of the software. So if you need help with that, let us know. But GX4 is where we are, and that's why you see it over here. So I'm going to open my preview pane, and I'm just in, let me find, Paul, I want you to take me, because since this is your WorldDocs view, to somewhere that has some PDFs, if you could, for me. So let's go ahead and there you go. I want to be safe, because this is our live data, and we don't want to just be sending information out there for everyone to see. So I'm going to let him pick where that would be. And what I'm going to talk about with today, I'm going to flip through several different documents and what can happen in that case. All right, so there's some PDFs in here. So, so I'm going to just highlight on a PDF here, and I'm going to view over here. I'm just clicking on that pane, and I've got this little viewer over here that I've got open now. And if I just start, let's say I'm searching for a document, and I'm just going to start flipping through, and I'm going to do this by type so I can get a couple PDFs in a row here, possibly. And there it goes. Okay, so let me get a bunch of them. So if I'm trying to find the exact right hosted invoice or whatever that I was trying to do, and I just start flipping through here, and you can see it's changing on the right-hand side there. And depending on how big my PDF document is, will depend on how long that's going to take that to load and change that view. And if I've got some large PDF documents, now these are relatively small, but if I had large PDF documents, even though I'm clicking to the next one and the next one and the next one, it's still trying to load the previous one, and it's not going to stop loading that until it's loaded and then go on. It might flip and show me a different view, but it's still trying to load those other documents there. And eventually, if I keep clicking on here, it's going to run out of time. It's going to not catch up and not be able to load that document. And I'll have something over here that's just not going to show my document anymore. And so what we want to do is we want to limit the size of the documents that open over here, so that when I'm flipping through, if it's a large document, it won't try to load it. It'll just tell me to click to open that one. So I'm going to right-click on that document to get those my click to view settings. And then I'm going to set this for my PDFs, and I'm just hovering over these. And then when I get down here, I can say only open or preview if it's if the file is a size of greater than 1 megabyte, or if it's greater than 5 or greater than 10. So I've got some choices here that I can say, well, don't open it automatically unless it's over this size. Or I'm sorry, if it's under this size, I should say. So only show it if it's underneath whatever this size is, instead of opening every single one regardless of how big it is. So normally our recommendation would be to do the 1 or the 5. Now you can do the 10 if you want to, if you've got a lot of them, but I would say probably the 1 or the 5 would be safe. And in that case, unless I get a really big document, everything will preview. But if I get a large one, it'll just have the click to preview, and I can just click on that and then manually open that particular one. Now, the other thing you have to remember, if I'm flipping through, if it isn't that big, I'm sorry, if it is larger than that, I'm getting myself backwards. I'm thinking one thing, but it's coming out of my mouth backwards. if it's larger than that size, instead of me, going click, 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 I can close this preview window by hiding the preview viewer and just not open it until I get onto the certain document that I want to view. Then I can open it, and then it might be a click to view if it's larger than that size, or it will just preview here. So a couple different things here. If I'm clicking through here like this, and I'm going very quickly to see if that's the one, let it take some time to load and change my settings so that the large documents aren't going to load, and I can click manually to do that, or close this and just click on the one and then open the previewer at that point. There's a couple of other things that can bog this down.
Let me interrupt you. Let's show them what that would look like.
Yeah, do you have a large one in there,
Well, no, but if we set it to always require a click,
okay,
then they'll see what that looks like. So I'm going to say always require a click. And now this is what happens.
There you go. I was trying to find one that was that big, but every time I clicked it open, I was like, ah. So yes, so here's what would show if it's larger than that size, and then I can just click this and I can open it when I'm ready. And that way I don't have to go out there and try to find, make sure it's the right size or not the wrong size or whatever that would be. So now, it's not just PDFs that you can do that on. You can do that on any kind of a document. So if I come up here to an Excel document, you might have some very large Excel documents. You can do the same thing. Right-click, you can set your click to view, and then you can go to Excel. And then again, you can only require it if it's a certain size, or you can always require the click to open. So that's available as well. It's not just PDF. It's any type of document, whether it's Word, it's Excel, any of that. And one other thing I did want to mention, sometimes with the PDF documents, some of the things that can cause it to take longer to load. It might not always be the size, but it could be the quality of your OCR. If it's not a good quality, that can take a little longer to load. Or if you're in a search and you're searching for a certain word, it's not only trying to load the preview, but it's also trying to go search through that document to find that specific word, so that can take a little longer for that preview to pop up. So it just depends on what you're doing when you're trying to flip through these documents as to how long that's going to take that to load up. And then if you're flipping really fast, you just multiply that, and it's just going to take longer and longer, and eventually it's just going to stop and not load anymore. So
one other important consideration is that it's your network speed. We're on a very, very fast network here. And some firms have a lot of users on a network that's not quite as fast as this. And so for us, viewing a 10 megabyte file may still be just as quick as viewing a 1 megabyte or smaller file. Even viewing an 80 megabyte file may be just as quick. But when you get on a network with a lot of users, with perhaps slower speed and more switches and more traffic that is going to clog things up, that's when you really start to notice this causing problems if you're trying to scan through 8 80 megabyte files in 5 seconds as you move your cursor up and down that list. So keep that in mind too.
All right, so I'm going to change this back, Paul, just so that
so you don't get in trouble?
Well, so that you don't get into trouble, if I can get one to open. Let me see here. Well, I'll have to set this back for you when we get the settings, so I'll make a note.
If
go ahead.
You get this is actually a bug that I think that they've fixed in a more recent. If you get that where it doesn't view after you've clicked, hide it and view it. That's a bug that they fixed. We are not on the most recent version here. Cobbler's children have no shoes. We never update our software.
And what did you normally have it set?
I had it set to greater than 10.
Greater than 10. Okay, there you go. So now you're back to normal on your settings, and you can take over.
And now you're not going to get in trouble.
Now I'm not going to get in trouble, and I don't have to make a note.
There you go. No notes, because we don't know where to put them. Okay, I'm going to click on Find. And a lot of you don't get something like this when you click on Find. A lot of you may go straight into this, something that looks like, and I'm having a little trouble double clicking, here we go, something that looks straight like this. So a lot of you click on Find and go straight in something like this, where then you have to choose which cabinet it is you want to search and say yes, the one that's highlighted, and then you get this, okay? And that makes search take a bit of time, because you have to do all those things. And so what we've come across as a good way to circumvent that is templates. And so I'm going to show you that when I click on Find, I have one called Clients. And when I double click on it, it goes straight to Clients. It already knows I'm searching just the clients, and it's already got these fields down here. I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to click on Search again, and I'm going to go to Email to and from. And now this one knows that I don't care what cabinet I'm searching, but I'm looking for specifically for email that might be to Mary Jo, or from Mary Jo, or from Bob, or whoever. It doesn't matter. And so you can set up search templates that meet common search scenarios, so that when you get to this list of search templates, you can say, oh, I want to go straight to a certain type of search, or I want to go straight to a certain cabinet, or straight to a certain cabinet but with the to and from fields in there. So let's say, for instance, we wanted to set up a search that always looked at client cabinet but also had the email to and from in it, so that I could further, if I wanted, search for emails to a specific person within that client cabinet. So how do you do that? Well, you get it set that way and then you save it. So let's just go to a generic search, and I could have gone straight to the client, but I wanted you to see that coming in this way, you select whatever cabinet it is that you want, and I'll go with the one highlighted for client. Now, you also get stuff out of there. That's just in there because it was in the prior search. And you make sure that your fields contain exactly what you want. So if you go into Search Options down at the bottom and choose Customize Fields, and say, I also want to include the from, and I want it to be down before, after the cabinet. No, let's make it before the cabinet. Okay, before the cabinet from and before the cabinet to. There we go. So we've got to and from also appearing on this here. So email to, email from. We can also make this a little bit bigger so it shows all the fields. And then I'm going to hit Option, Save Template. And I'm going to call this Client with Email in order to hint at the fact that I'm searching the client cabinet with the email fields exposed. When I do this, I don't want to perform the search. I could actually have filled one out with a certain client, a certain matter, maybe a certain type of document. I might have searched for pleadings within Purdue law offices. And then I could perform the search. But I want to show the template. That means that when I click the button to load the template, which we'll do in a second, it's going to take me to the search screen with those things already configured the way I want them. And if you're an administrator, you can save this template for everyone or a limited group of set of groups or users. And so you can kind of push this out to everybody all at the same time without having to go to each machine and do it. If you're a regular old WorldDocs user, when you go to do this, you'll only have the Only Me option. And so I have now saved a search template for Only Me, so that when I click on Find, I have clients with email, and when I double click on that, it takes me straight to a screen that has, first off, is big enough to hold all the fields, goes straight to the client file, has the email to, email from. So now I can say, I want client files, I want to look for Purdue Law, and I want email to Mary Jo. I don't have to type maryjo.boyd at Attorney Computer Systems. I'm just searching for the words Mary Jo within the email to field. And now I'm looking for any document that's stored with Purdue Law that is an email to Mary Jo. It could be from Leanne, it could be from me, it could be from somebody at Purdue Law offices, and here they all are. Now, let's take this a little further. I'm going to go in and start a new search, and I'm going to use this template. And I'm going to say email to D. Purdue, because that's my brother Dave's first part of his email address, in Purdue Law. And I'm going to choose them. Oops, I shouldn't have said law, just Purdue. And I'm going to save this. And I'm going to call it Purdue email to Dave. And instead of showing the template, I want to just go ahead and perform the search. And I'm saving it as a new personal template. And so now when I click the search button or the find button, I changed my language to say find, and I always say search. Purdue email with Dave, email to Dave, bam, there it is. Every email that's in the client cabinet with the client Purdue Law Offices, where it's an email that includes D Purdue in the to address. Now that's the difference between a show template and perform search. You'll remember when I created the first template, the clients with email, I told it to show the template. And so it takes me to the template, allowing me to specify things before I have it search. When I created the one for Purdue email to Dave, I told it to simply go ahead and perform the search. And so when I double click on that, it goes ahead and does the search. It doesn't let me specify anything more. Now I can edit this template. And I'm just going to go in here, and I don't have edit capability, so I have to actually edit and save. You can enable this edit here on a user-by-user basis. So a user may have the ability to simply go in and edit a template. I don't have that, so I'm going to go ahead and select a different one, email, client with email. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to say Purdue Law and email to D Purdue. And I'm going to save it. And I'm going to save it under that same name, Purdue email to Dave. But this time I'm just going to show the template. I have to delete the other. So I'm just going to name it Purdue email to Dave 2. And now when I click on that one, same thing. It's going to have the same search criteria as the one above it, but it's going to take me here and allow me to do other things like say, well, it's got to be from Mary Jo. I only want email from Mary Jo. And so, or I only want email that is a certain doc type, or I only want it for a certain matter, or I only want stuff that was created or modified in the last week. So let's say I only want email that was modified from 7 days ago to today. Same thing as far as D Purdue and the client number. And now I've given myself that same Purdue email to Dave, but then I get to further refine the search before I make it. Now, some things are going to be fairly obvious within your firm, within your environment as to what you want. If you've got a client's cabinet, you should always have a search template that takes you to searching blank client fields. Just an easy way to get there without having to specify which cabinet. If you have an office, or you have a forms, or you have a whatever, maybe you have a forms, and forms has estate planning forms and litigation forms and some other type of forms. You might create 3 templates, one to say litigation forms, one to say estate planning forms, and one to say whatever the other type of forms is. And that takes you straight to a search that's going to go straight to those things, but allow you to do some other things along the way, like say only those things that were created last week by Joanne, or whatever it is that you want. Templates are a way to get very quickly to certain search scenarios and either perform the search or take you to the search box and let you further refine that search that's already been defined by the template itself. And there you have it. So, next month, we're going to talk about learning how to get documents in and out of World Docs. I'm going to talk about creating send tos. When you right-click, one of your options is send to. I'm going to show you how to create these because you aren't stuck with these. You can create your own to send documents to certain places. Mary Jo is going to talk about all the different ways to get documents into World Docs, including the Save to World Docs from Windows Explorer and the drop zone and the email buttons, all the different ways to get things into World Docs other than the ones you're already familiar with, which is just saving a document and having it pop up and go into World Docs. So that's next month. I do want to point out that we have this wonderful place that we call attorneycomputersystems.com. And let me say that again because it's Attorney Computer Systems. Notice the subtle emphasis on that last S in the word systems. And when you go here, there is a videos tab that when you drop it down, you see that we have these things called the Water Cooler Virtual User Group Meetings, which you are attending the World Docs Water Cooler right now. We have one for tabs, one for Practice Master, one for World Docs. We also have a monthly webinar series that I present and usually lately have been bringing in people from other companies to show their products that enhance the experience of using Practice Master or tabs or World Docs. And those 4 events, the 3 virtual user group meetings and the Coffee Pot webinars, those are live. You know, if it really is 4:25 at 3:27 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, then you know these are live events because you're attending a live event right now as we record it. We do also record these live events, and we'll talk about that in a second. We have these other 2 titles. We have the eBytes video series. These are pre-recorded here in the studios at Attorney Computer Systems. Mary Jo records her eBytes video series every month, 3 of them, one on tabs, one on Practice Master, one on World Docs, and these are short 3 or 4 or 5 minute videos on a very cool, very succinct thing. Did you know you could do this? Did you know that you could do this? Or that in this situation you might want to consider doing it this way? And then we have the longer format Paul and Mary Jo show where I or Mary Jo take a broader topic and spend a great deal of time, 10, 15, sometimes 20 minutes delving into all the intricacies of that particular topic. So these are pre-recorded, but the virtual user group meetings, like the one you're in right now, are live. And so when you go to one of their entries, you're going to see registration information for the next event, which this will change to May tomorrow sometime. As you scroll down, you'll go past the ones that are currently in post-production. Those are videos that are currently being produced by our video producer, Brad. And you'll get to the recorded versions of the ones that are already posted on the website. So basically anything that's ever been done live will, within a week or 2, show up on our website as a produced video recorded and ready to be viewed by you at a later date. Now, you can scroll through them and look at things this way, or you can come up here and simply search for something like, let's say, email, and when you wait long enough, you'll get a quick list, or you can just go to this list here, the all results list, and find exactly what it is you're looking for. So please, we've spent a lot of time putting these out there for you. We want you to know they're available, and we want you to use them as much as you see fit. They're there for you. Take advantage of them 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Everybody have a good rest of the afternoon, a good rest of the month, and we will see you in May at the World Docs Virtual User Group meeting. Thanks much. Bye-bye.